It came in so quickly, COVID-19, that it was sort of a shock to the system. Like, I thought was what happened was we'd be able to play now and again, you know? But to stop, boom, dead. It was a very flattened experience. I've been playing since 9 years of age, and I love music, and you know that yourself, and we often had good nights together. I won't use the word depressing, I feel flat, I feel empty. And I lived in a very country area, and it's full of hedges and ditches like where we are now. And I used to always listen to poetry going to bed. That's why I learned the guitar and the start, you know? So that's what's very important to me. I think the last gig I did was in the Durgan in Terglass, wasn't it?
It was Kilreekle.
Which was Kilreekle, down Kilreekle, County Galway. And yeah, nice, lovely pub, you know, there's your Brian's there. And Kilreekle, a very well known pub, by the way. And sure, the atmosphere was always good, and sure, Desi himself and Ollie over here and myself and Rút, and sure, Brendan here, sessions here and there everywhere, you know.
Was there pressure on you to cancel, or was it one of those things that it just wasn't really?
No, the fact that the schools had closed and a lot of places were starting to close down, we didn't know whether we should go or not.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like, and I had that in Gary when the school is closed. You know, I rang Maura, what will we do, Maura? And she says, Brendan, I leave it up to yourself. And I says, well, should we? And we decided, no, just to...
Yeah, and we were to go to Terglass that Sunday evening, and we were on the team, as they say, and we actually decided not to go because Brian was working as a carer and he was afraid because
everyone's fears.
That pub it's a much smaller pub, it's a lot more people close together. So whereas in Kilreekle we knew it was a big open space.
And we were on our own.
And we were grand, we were
no one listening to you, no.
and fun.
I've talked to several musicians and you know, it's sad, but I also think music has a purpose. It has a huge purpose in life, and sadly a lot of people have lost people in COVID-19 and they need something. There's a miss, and I think for me it's music.
And do you play music now at home? I mean,
just basically sit down and practice, that's all, you know. You have to keep in touch with it, you know, it's like anything else. If I don't keep playing, I'm going to lose out, you know. Keep learning new songs or a couple of new tunes, and Rút and myself often sit down here together and play a few tunes together just to keep in touch. And we will be there when the storm passes, please God, and off we go again. You need two things for music. You need musicians and you need people. And when you get them and them together, then you have a good night, then you have happiness. But it does take away the frowns from the forehead. And I think COVID-19, there's two sides to it. There's the virus, but there's also depression coming in on people. Okay, we have to hear about it on TV. We have to keep a constant reminder. Young, old, it doesn't matter. We have to get constantly reminded of what's out there. It's serious. I know it's serious. Everybody here in this room knows it's serious. Sadly, a lot of people have lost people in COVID-19 and they need something. There's a miss. I'm not a professional in how we're going to handle this or any way, but I think it can be done. That we can go play music and let everybody use common sense as to keep a distance from each other and play music and just bring a bit of joy back into life. I think it's important that we have it. It's a part of the medical thing for the future.
Ollie, what was the last gig you did?
Brian as well, and it was funny, same experience. It was so quick and so final that it was a bit of a shock to the system. And we played the gig, and there was a nervousness that night about everyone had this nervousness because the schools had just shut, and what was coming and what would we do, and we didn't know whether we'd do the gig or we wouldn't, and we got the go ahead to do the gig, and we were delighted to do the gig. But coming here at the end of it, like there was a going away party, someone was going away and they were all celebrating and probably not realising what was coming down the tracks, you know. But we played away and they got out dancing at the end of the night, and that was it. And I would just turn to each other and says it just felt like the Titanic had gone down. Look, we said goodnight to everybody, and Brian and Rút dropped me home, and They'd normally just you come home straight away. I said, sure, come in, because we knew this could be a while. So they came in and we had the tea and the goujons and whatnot, and you know, a few tunes until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then bang, that was it. The lockdown came and the pubs shut on Monday, the day before Paddy's Day, and that was it. And we thought, oh, look, it's 6 or 8 weeks, so you know, maybe by the end of June we'll be back. We all lock it down now, stay at home, play our part, and let's get rid of this virus and get the show back on the road then, maybe at the end of June or something like that. But then time went on and that didn't happen, and you know, Paddy's Day came and went, and my kids play music as well, and you know, Paddy's Day parades were gone. All of a sudden they were preparing for all of that. We just had our own little parade around the kitchen, you know, and we videoed it and we sent it around to the family, and you know, had the floats going and the teddies were all going on the carts, and you know, there was prizes for the best float and whatnot. And it was brilliant, and we still have that video, and it's become part of our album for 2020. But everybody had memories like that, and that's kind of bringing music to smile through the troubled times, like, you know, and that is what happened. But the troubled times kept going.
You know, it's a small bit surreal. You know, we lost a couple of very well-known musicians and singers, Nora Butler, in Nina and Billy Greenall, during the COVID lockdown. And although we tried our best to celebrate their life, but we couldn't, because, you know, limited in churches and no music, and that was awful sad. But you asked the question earlier on, why is there not more heard about musicians? And I think a lot of it has to do is we're linked to the pub. The pubs are closed, so there's no mention of the musicians. And for me, I play a weekly session along with others down in Gary Larkins and Gary Kennedy, and it's absolutely brilliant. Something I look forward to every week. And I suppose we have the music, and the music is brilliant, and you get lost in the music. But a huge part of the trad scene is the social aspect of it. And when you miss out meeting these people who are, it's like a huge family. The listeners become your family, and you know everything about the listeners, and the listeners know everything about you. And I mean, look, I'm in mid-40s now, and maybe 40, whatever I am. Can you edit that? But anyway, I'm in my mid-40s, and there was a time where I'd go 3 nights non-stop, but that's
you
gone.
play a bit of music as well, I'd say, would you?
Yeah, but I go 3 nights non-stop, but not able for it anymore. You know, but again, it's the meeting of the people. I'm lucky. My wife is a fiddle player, and I have a daughter, a concertina player, and we get out the instruments occasionally. But I'm seeing of late that's not happening as much as it was early in the lockdown, where we were learning tunes together. And that's my biggest worry for the younger. I have a girl, she's 16, plays the concertina, loves the Irish music, and again, another part of it is the social aspect. It's what she fell in love with. Don't get me wrong, I got to know my daughter, because I'll be working a lot. I got to know my daughter, but one thing that she realised, that I was a bit of an idiot. But yeah, but it's strange times.
Yeah, but then, like, all the musicians that you were saying, Brendan, the youngsters, the teenagers that would be in these sessions, they're the groundwork for the future stars, like, you know. So they're all, if they miss their calling or they give it up now, if they're that good, they probably won't. But at the same time, you know, when I was a youngster, going around to all these sessions, and my dad used to bring me and my mum into Lochray, into the Art Bar, and like, I was only 11, 12, 13, and they'd go up and say to the band, "Would you mind if you'd up and play a few tunes?" And up you go, and that's where I got my confidence. It's a huge experience. And that stood to me as I got older. And that was music, you know. You would worry what would happen if there's a prolonged lockdown with music missing from the equation for those youngsters.
Right, so what are you most looking forward to when this all stops.
Grabbing the guitar, probably putting on a loose set of strings, putting it in the case, and hitting down that road, walking in, just sitting in the corner and playing. I'm really looking forward to that. It's up to everybody else, and I think common sense comes into it. Because musicians really will get home, keep a distance from each other, and there can be methods used to make sure everything's intact. So throw it out there, and I think it's a vital part of life.
I don't know, now that this has happened, there's no pathway as to what's going to come back. You know, are the pub's going to open, are they going to be the same again? I don't think so. I don't think anything will ever be the same again. So then how does music evolve to fit into that? You know, and we don't know is the answer, and that's scary.
Something to look forward to, but we're not there yet. And we just have to bide the time. But one thing is for sure, the wheel will turn and it will come right. And it's important that people remember that.
It's very difficult to go out and tell the birds to stop singing. There'll always be music. It might be in a house quiet, but there'll always be music. Always. It can't be stopped.